All eyes will be on quarterback Carson Wentz this weekend as he gets set to face the team that drafted him. We will preview his matchup against the Eagles. And after posting sacks in back-to-back games to start the season, what does defensive tackle Daron Payne have in store for Philly? He goes one-on-one with London Fletcher after practice. Plus, Washington has won their first NFC East game of the season each year under head coach Ron Rivera. We share our keys to making it a perfect 3-for-3 this Sunday.
1, 2, 3,
And welcome on into Command Center. Julie Dawes with Logan, Paulsen, and Santana Moss. And we finally get our taste of the NFC East. Philadelphia coming to town. Okay, guys. Every game's important. We understand that. But Santana, do these games mean that much more?
Definitely do. I think those division games carry more weight.
Absolutely.
I think when it comes down to just, seeing these guys twice a year, in contentions of, playing for that playoff berth, you have a chance to win your division, you're a shoe-in. So they definitely carry a lot of weight.
Yeah, familiarity breeds contempt, and I think, like Santana said, you're very familiar with these teams, and also if you win the division, you're in. So yes, these games mean a little bit more emotion associated with them for sure.
And Philadelphia is off to a hot start as well, so you want to be able to establish that tone early on in this game, and it is at FedEx Field at home. That factors in as well. And talking about familiarity, guys, that's been the storyline coming into this one is Commanders quarterback Carson Wentz facing the team that drafted him second overall back in 2016. Now, the former North Dakota State product spent 5 years with the Eagles, which included a Super Bowl run in 2017. But Carson, he's focused on helping his current team prepare for their first divisional matchup of the season.
I'm excited for it just because of the nature of the game. Obviously, they've started hot. We know where we're at and everything. It's a divisional rivalry, all of those things. I've been a part of this one. I know the emotion that goes into it from the other side. So I'm excited for it.
There's just more on the line, I feel like, when you play in these games, and obviously with the history in this division, if you want to be able to win your division, you have to win these games and you protect your home field as well. So, they're a really good team. They're definitely on a hot streak right now. They start off the season really well, and it's going to take everybody's best effort this weekend to try to win this game.
We gotta play consistently. Their D-line is obviously their strong suit of their team. Obviously, they've got two really good corners, but we gotta be consistent. We gotta block them up front. We gotta get on them in the run game and then make plays in the pass game.
Every week is a dog fight, but a division game, it's something different, something extra. So, it's just going to be a fight all 4 quarters, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a very physical game. There's going to be a lot of emotions on both sides, you know what I'm saying? But you just go out there and just do your best.
So the players, they get it. They understand this is a game that they really need and kind of have to win here. Let's take a look at how the teams stack up so far this season. We should expect to see a lot of offense going on. Eagles come to town with a top-ranked offense, averaging a shade of 477 yards a game. And the Commanders have posted back-to-back games with at least 390 total yards for the first time since 1999. Time now to go inside the matchup presented by FanDuel. This fantasy football season, get more ways to win with FanDuel. So let's get into some of these specific matchups that you guys are going to be looking for in this one. And I want to start with why the Eagles offense is running so well, and that's because of quarterback Jalen Hurts. I mean, he is second in the league with the most passing and rushing yards, total yards that there is. Meanwhile, Carson Wentz is third, but most of it is coming through the air. What is it about Jalen, Logan, that says, okay, we got to be able to contain him and what he's able to do with the offense?
Well, I think everyone associates him as being this very dynamic runner, which he is, very tremendous athlete, but I think the area that he's improved the most in is as a passer. He looks so much more dynamic, completing over 80% of his passes against Minnesota. And a little bit of that's on Minnesota and the conservative defense that they played, but he has evolved tremendously as a passer, and he's actually, I think that's making him more dangerous, making that offense more dangerous. So to me, that's the evolution of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I think Logan hit it on the head. I think one of the things that stands out the most is that, they told him, hey, during the offseason, this is where your handicap at in the passing game. We know you can run with the football. He comes in this season, he's running well with the football again, and he's passing, and making sure that he's out there. He's in the top ranks when it comes to the quarterbacks in the league each Sunday. So we definitely have to, try to find a way to hold him down in both categories.
Yeah, and kudos to the staff there in Philadelphia, too, for finding receivers to support him.
Yeah.
And they've done that, and they've found guys like A.J. Brown who are dominant number 1 receivers, and I think that always helps you on quarterbacks like Jalen.
You know, he's also holding the ball longer than any quarterback, but that's because he can scramble and extend the play, so about just over 3 seconds. But when he does throw it, he is leading the league in passing yards per attempt at 9.1. So he's being able to get a lot of yards through the air as well. You just mentioned the receivers, so let me go ahead and go to that. They did bring in A.J. Brown. They do have Devontae Smith as well. And, of course, they have tight end that's really able to do a lot of work as well. How do our DBs stack up against them, do you think? How do you limit that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough because you didn't even mention Quay Watkins, who's like the speedster of that group. So they kind of have a, much like our team, a three-headed monster that's very dynamic, an excellent tight end, an excellent running back, all guys that can find mismatches, right? So I think it's about slowing them down. I think all of their production stems from Jalen Hurts. So can you confuse Jalen Hurts? Can you unsettle him? Can you make him question what he's looking at? Tandy, you've talked a lot about pressing the receivers at the line of scrimmage, just giving those guys different looks, and I think that's going to be the genesis of slowing that group down. Yeah,
that's key for me. I played a long time in this league, and one of the things I've always said, you can put anybody in front of me, and especially man to man, I'm going to beat them. 9 times out of 10, any guy in this league that's on this level, you should be able to beat a man-to-man coverage. But when you have a guy pressing, being the net and being a pest, that slows things down. It takes the quarterback too long to be, looking at you primarily. So he comes off of you. Now he got to see his second and third read. If we get those guys to slow those receivers down, send people at Hurts, then now you can take him out of that game plan or out of that progression, and he has to do plan B or plan C. So that's how you stop those guys.
You're also talking about not just playing, your man, the receivers and DBs, but what goes in that, of course, is the pass rush.
Yeah.
And if you have a good pass rush, then you're probably not going to be able to be open to begin with because they're getting to the quarterback. We saw them get to Kirk Cousins and very aggressive in that game Monday night. How do you see Washington and Scott Turner holding up against their defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon?
Yes, I think Jonathan Gannon's a very young and up-and-coming guy. He's kind of changing what he does. Last year, they were one of the most conservative defenses in the NFL. A little bit more aggressive this year, but I think the matchup favors Washington because of the space and the kind of the conservative approach that he has.
Yeah, one of the things that stands out to me is just, me and Logan played a long time, and it's something that I spoke with London about. It's a copycat league. Teams are going to pick up what they see that you can't do or that you didn't, pan out well with. So they watch Detroit game and say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to bring fire, we're going to bring blitz, and see how these guys can take it. I talked about last week being the dictator. We have to dictate what we want to do. So you make sure that if they're going to put those guys in the box and bring the blitz, you make sure you hit somebody every time and get them off. Or take a shot downfield too, and then that defense is going to say, hold on, we can't bring these guys in the box. We can't sit out here and be too aggressive. We have to make sure that we can contain these guys on the outside as well. That's how you change things up.
All right, well, one of those guys that you probably would be able to hit quickly or the shot down the field would be Jahan Dotson. He has been absolutely amazing as well in the red zone, and he has a chance to be the first Washington rookie to have a touchdown reception in each of his first 3 games since his current teammate Terry McLaurin started his career in 2019 with 3 straight touchdown performances. Well, he joined Tressway on the season debut of Hang Time.
I have to say this, Tress. You are the funniest person on the team.
You were eyeballing me first couple weeks. You're like, this frickin' dude's got 5. I'm just going to challenge him to a fight and take it from him. Show up to family barbecues just strapped over. Does that say 2022 Rookie of the Year?
My one friend who lives with me right now, he picked me up on fantasy. And before I leave every game every week, he's like, yo, I need points this week.
See, in my playbook, I have punt left and I have punt right. Jahan, this is a true story. Whenever you scored the touchdown this weekend, Cheese looked at me and he goes, it's a touchdown for old Cheese. He's just like, yep. I guess there's 2 things I could talk trash to you on. I got you on the Madden rating, man.
You got me on the Madden rating.
Oh, man, funniest guy on the team, number 5. He's got my number. I'll just keep practicing. I'll get up there.
Coming up, Daron Payne and the defensive line will have their hands full against the Eagles' rushing attack. He goes one-on-one with our captain, London Fletcher, next.
Well, I'm going to start first here.
I'm about to say, please do.
This is Bryant-Denny Stadium, and I know this is going to get a 10 because this man did all this stuff there. But I'm going to give them, I'm going 8.
Now explain, okay.
I'm going to go 8,
I think that's low, but explain.
I absolutely love the stadium.
All right.
But I think we got shafted by the referees in this stadium. I rolled in there with my little team, and we had 2 touchdowns called back that were not, we couldn't find a penalty nowhere.
You got to give Alabama Bryant-Denny Stadium a 10. Easy.
If you went there for sure.
It's not like any other stadium. The girls wear nice sundresses and cowboy boots and hats. The guys wear khaki shorts and polos. It's real professional. You know what I mean?
Cursing me out, John.
That's different. I didn't say how they act. I said how they dress.
All right, where are we at here?
Davis Wade.
Mississippi State.
I'll go first. I'll give it a 0. I hate the cowbells. The cowbells. It was a dump. I didn't like
cute,
it.
But I think they tried to copy off of another school that has the horseshoe-shaped stadium. So I gotta say that they copied. So I'm gonna give them like a 4.5. Auburn. That's in your state, so I know that's a 0.
No, I'll give it a 1. They only beat us once.
They packed that thing, man. So I'll go like a 7.5.
Nah, you're right. I'll give them a 2. I'll give them a 2.
All right, A&M.
I have a legit reason why they're not going to score well with me. I have a legit reason.
What's the reason?
First of all, it's a 0. But when I went there, it was the middle of September, and they hadn't redone the visitor locker room. So we have fold-up chairs and no AC.
They'll make sure you.
It was 110 degrees. Yeah, it's a 0.
It's a strange stadium for me. I've been there for some games. Let's go 6 with them. All right, now, I grew up only 15 miles from there. And I like when you come out that bus and Mike is out there. I gotta give them a 10.
I'll give him a 9. I love
that place, right? When you come out of that visitor locker room and the fans are right on you. Listen, bro.
You know that song they play, they sing in the stadium. I'm not gonna talk about it, but you know what song I'm talking about. They get real grimy and nasty. It's fun. Not to mention.
But if John gave Tiger Stadium a 9, that's a damn good stadium.
That's a great stadium. I tell people you got to go to Alabama and LSU at night against a rival. At night.
But if you go to Alabama and LSU against each other at Tiger Stadium or in Alabama, the tailgating is special.
Well, as Washington continues their first season as the Commanders, as you just saw, we continue to honor our past with our present. We hope you enjoy those shows, Commander Code. Now, the Pro Football Hall of Fame just posted this picture. It's of Daron Payne, the first jersey that he wore in a game, to honor the start that he has had as we are kicking off our very first season as the Commanders. Well, Payne also had some time to chat with our captain, London Fletcher.
Daron, man, you're off to a phenomenal start in your 5th season, sacks in back-to-back games. First of all, I want to know, what are you eating before the games, man? I need some of that. What's the pregame meal?
Pregame, I usually get oatmeal, fruit, and a whole bunch of water, take my vitamins, and be ready to go.
When you have this type of success that you're having this early in the season, what do you attribute it to? Is it the prep work you've done? Is it your training during the off season?
Yeah.
Is it the film work? What do you attribute it to?
I put in a lot of work during the off season to get to the season, and it's just like, now that I have the opportunity to go out there and put it on tape, is like I just go out there and try to give it my all. I know every day I try to be better than I was yesterday. I may try to get more sleep than I did yesterday. May try to watch a little bit more film, eat better. So I just try to up myself every day.
When you look at defensive tackles, when I'm looking at defensive tackles, you have some guys who are really good at stopping the run, other guys who are just, maybe their forte is rushing the passer. You're the complete package. And I noticed that early in training camp and watching the first preseason game. It just seems like the explosiveness, also not only rushing the passer but stopping the run, it's almost like you came out of nowhere. But was this something you always had in your repertoire, and you're just able to utilize it a little bit more this time?
I was a run stopper coming out of Alabama, so it was like I had to learn. I'm teaching myself how to be a pass rusher and how to just give that effort every down to get to the quarterback, because it's a little bit more effort that you need to give to be able to rush the quarterback and be able to be effective and put hits on them. So I just been trying to learn myself on how to just be able to do both.
First division matchup, big game. They're number 2 in the National Football League running the football, and then you add Jalen Hurts and his ability to run the ball as well. What type of challenge will they be as an offense, and how can you guys kind of negate what they do best and come out with the victory?
Quarterbacks that run, they always just a big challenge for the D-line, because you got to be able to rush with awareness and keep them in the pocket, because they like to get out the pocket and do the things they like to do outside of the pocket. And it's just a lot more running around. And I feel like as a defense, as long as we play technique sound and keep the quarterback in the pocket, keep them contained, I feel like we got a good chance of beating them.
All right, man. On a lighter note, or I want to show you something. I don't know if you've seen this yet.
Oh, yeah.
This right here. This is displayed in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. This is from the Commanders' first game, and this your jersey, your cleats, your uniform for the first ever game as a Commander or this franchise under the Commander's name. What do you, when you saw this? What does that do to you?
It was cool. It was cool to me because I come from Alabama, like I told you, Birmingham. A lot of kids don't make it out of Birmingham, and it's just awesome to be able to see all my work and preparation and all the things I've been doing my whole life finally come to fruition. You feel me? And I don't know. It's just an honor to be able to have something. I know it's not gonna be there forever, but just to have something in there for a little while.
All right, thanks, Daron.
I appreciate it.
Now make sure to watch Command Center Game Day Live, the official pregame show of the Washington Commanders. We're live on the air starting at 11 a.m. and taking you up to the start of our first divisional game of the season against the Eagles. You can watch on our YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter. And after the game, do not miss Command Center Postgame Live for reaction analysis and interviews with head coach Ron Rivera and the players. You can also find that on YouTube. Take command of your game days. No, don't go anywhere. What will it take to hand Jalen Hurts and the Eagles their first loss of the season? We share our keys to winning when we wrap up this edition of Command Center. The Commanders will take on the Eagles at FedEx Field on Sunday with kickoff scheduled for 1 p.m. You can watch the game on Fox, or if radio is more your style, you can catch Bram Weinstein, Lyndon Fletcher, and myself on Big 100. For more on this weekend's matchup, let's go behind enemy lines with senior staff writer Zach Selby and Eagles insider Dave Spadaro.
Thanks, Julie, and here we are with Eagles insider Dave Spadaro. So, Dave, we got to get into the biggest question. I think that's really been percolating since March. Carson Wentz going to be playing against his former team for the first time ever. I know that there's very few people who are still in the building from when he was there, but, you know, what has the atmosphere been like in the locker room knowing that the people who are there are going to be playing against their former teammate?
Yeah, Zach, I don't think it's a story for the team. I think it's a great story for the media and for the fans, and there'll be thousands of them coming down to FedEx Field on Sunday, but the media have been trying to get something out of the players all week. Players have been dodging the question for the most part and just saying it's another game. I mean, they've played against former teammates before. I'm sure that they will exchange pleasantries. Carson was a well-liked guy here.
There's a lot of interesting matchups for Week 3. You kind of touched on one with the passing attack from Washington. But is there any other matchups that you're looking most forward to seeing against the Eagles?
Well, look, I think that the Eagles' run game, which last year led the NFL in ground yards, they're off to a wonderful start this year. It's interesting, like we were having a conversation and people were going, yeah, I think Minnesota did a pretty good job against the Eagles on the ground. And then you look at the numbers and the Eagles had 163 on the ground after putting up 216 in Detroit a week earlier. So the Eagles' run game against the Washington run defense, which I think is allowing something like 7 yards per carry.
Yep.
I mean, it's like an eye-popping number. If the Eagles can take advantage there, it's going to be really tough to beat this football team.
Time now for our keys to winning, presented by the Maryland Lottery. Play fast, win fast with fast play games from the Maryland Lottery. So head coach Ron Rivera is looking to win the first game in the division against Philadelphia. So let's get our keys to winning. Santana, we start with you.
Thank you, Julie. Well, you know, my number one key to winning this game
surprise, right?
Has to be, stopping Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles run game. But not just the run game, the offense.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we have to do, contain these guys. I mean, we saw from week 1 and week 2, defensively, we might not go out there and stop anybody.
Yeah.
But we must contain this guy. We know he can do it in the RPO game, and now the passing game has been a threat. So that's my number one key to win.
I totally agree, and this could really be the point for all 5 of these things. That's how important that is. That's what he means to that offense. But kind of reversely is keeping Carson Wentz comfortable, right? Because I think if the defense is going to struggle doing this, Carson's going to have to score a lot of points. This offense is going to have to score a lot of points. I think that comes down to Scott Turner finding throws and reads and knowing when to run the football to make sure that he's in his comfort zone, because when he's in his comfort zone, this offense really ticks.
And I must piggyback off of what you're talking about with Carson Wentz, and I'm going to say my number 2 key to winning would be sustained long offensive drives, and that's dealing with Carson, Scott Turner, just offensively what we saw the first game. You know, we're back home now. We have the home field advantage. We have the crowd behind us. We're probably going to see a lot of those green jerseys in the stands too. But we must sustain long drives and keep our defense, you know, off the field at all times. I mean, we understand what our defense have right now. Might be some depth issues up front, but regardless of what it is, if we can go out there and perform the way we did week 1 in the first half and sustain that the second half, we have a great chance of winning.
Yeah, I don't even know if they need to be long drives. I think they just need to score points too, right? Because this, you know, this offense has been driven by big plays. I think if they get that big play, get those points, make it a shootout, it's not going to be so much on the defense. I think, and then kind of piggybacking off of you, man, spread the wealth around on offense, and then kind of pairs with this one, finding your mismatches. And I think all those things are so important, right? Because they have excellent defensive coverage players, right? They got Slay, they got Bradbury, they got Maddox in the slot, and those guys are going to match up with our three-headed monster really nicely. So can Gibson, McKissick, Logan Thomas, can you find those opportunities against linebackers and lesser cover players to really put that offense in a good situation? I think, yes, Scott Turner's shown that he can do that, but that's going to be a huge element in this game in terms of being successful on offense.
And these are the games you get paid for, man. You want to have a great divisional opponent that you can go out there and play your best against the best and see who comes out on top.
Absolutely. Julie, what do you think?
My biggest one would be make sure there is more burgundy and gold fans show up, be loud, tell everybody wearing anything green that they're going home with a big old L. There we go. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on this Command Center. Enjoy the game on Sunday. We'll be back here on Monday to wrap it all up and hopefully be celebrating victory.